Alright, I just received, I pulled apart the CSR Elite pedals, and here they are, what they look like, and I went to adjust them down to the lowest notch here, so that I had the longest throw, the lowest resistance, especially on the gas pedal, which I could tighten up with this spring. Now, the problem with that is it doesn't work. I had it hooked up to the PC I have here, and for some reason about that much didn't do anything, and then it started registering afterwards. So if you look in the back here, the rack and pinion setup they have, the rack completely comes out from touching the gear. It's this nice hole that if Fanatec didn't provide, I wouldn't be able to tell you what the hell was wrong. So you get that much throw and measurement, and then nothing for that much of it. And if you move this up a hole, that goes away. But I don't want to move it up a hole. I want to have the most throw on the gas pedal as possible, and actually the most resolution, because if you put these up higher and higher and higher, eventually this pedal only moves like that far on the 4th or 5th hole, and I don't even know the 5th hole works because look where the bolt is to mount the pedal. It's in line where this has to sit, so you can't use the 5th hole, and on this pedal, if I have it modified yet, you can't use the 5th hole. And first, whatever, holes, 5th hole, 1st hole, unusable because of that. So, here's the clutch, which was the exact same problem. Beep beep. And you'll see it's about a ½ inch longer because I cut it, put a piece of stainless steel screw, I cut the head off, some nuts, and now it's always in contact all the time. And this was super simple to do, and I'm sure it's going to avoid the warranty, but it now works. You can use it at the lowest setting. Still can't use it at the highest setting because bolt in the way. But yeah, you need it to work there and not at all, and then just a little bit. Look how many teeth are left out. Even at full compression, you've got 3 teeth stuck out, and then 8 teeth stuck out. So on mine, you started with 3, and then none. So let's take it apart and show you how I did this. First thing you do is you take these 2 Allen key bolts out that are holding the rear of the assembly in place, and I've already unscrewed them because movie magic. Actually, most of them. And once these come out, the whole assembly will simply pop up. And that sleeve falls out, this unit comes apart, and you're left with this attached. So this has got to come apart too, and this you could do with just another Allen key, or super resourceful, you have one of these wrenches, which I've apparently already loosened. There you go. So now you've got a pile of parts coming together. That. Interesting, this has little spring caps. That's different than the other one, which you have to keep. There you go, so there's a spring. This simply unscrews, which that wasn't screwed in very far at all, I don't know why. That screws into this. So unscrew that, and you're left with the piece we have to extend, which actually has a very nice little channel on the bottom of it. I don't know, for saving weight, maybe. And bits on the end here that don't have any teeth, which I simply snipped off the other one, but since it's going in further into this, and you could actually play with it. Stop. If you get it under the sleeve there. You can see it almost makes it to the back, but doesn't quite make it all the way as far as it'll go, and that means it's not going to work once we modify it. So this front bit's got to be snipped off. I have one of these. And yeah, you want to be a little careful of this, and it's going to suck. It's going to feel like, oh, you're avoiding a warranty. Do the edges first. There's 2. And just go easy on it. There you go. If you need to use a little file on it, get the shitty edges off. Just make sure it's nothing sharp, because it does have to still slide on this. Although it's plastic on plastic and it's really not going to get stuck. Okay, so now you've shortened this. Shut that off. And now it's time to take out a baby hacksaw. Oh, it's cute. But actually, it's not time to take out a baby hacksaw. Now it's time to take out and find. I have a full one around here. Whatever. Here. Here's the stainless steel 1/8 inch threaded bolt and nut. I've hacksawed off the top, so it's just a shaft. And I put these two little nuts in it so that I know exactly how far apart to move it right. It's about a 1/2 inch if I get the caliper out. You can see exactly how far we're moving it. Yeah, good, yes. Better further away. So there. 1/2 inch is what we're extending it. So now we have to cut this, and we got to cut it in a way that this end isn't going to hit our box when it slides in. So just pretty much as close to the hinge wiggly side as you can. We're going to cut it like there. So back in a sec. Alright, now I have two pieces, and all the warranties have officially been voided. And that's almost a straight cut. I eyeballed it. Alright, here. One end, and this will sit flat like that, but this end has a teeth, so if you put it down it's gonna rock and be crooked, so you gotta put it off the edge or something. Now I'm just using a hot glue gun. You could probably use Crazy or something else if you really felt the urge to, but I think hot glue will be the easiest to repair or replace should something go wrong. And this is just gonna sit there and there and get glued in place, which is almost there. Now it's sitting off. Double check the measurement because the screws have been spinning around. Come on. Yeah, it's fine. Alright, back in line. Straight line. Glue here first. Ooh, that's quite a bit. Place it in there. That's one. Glue in this end. Grab it down. Ow, that sucks. Alright, sitting off the table. Push that down. The screw is a... God damn it. The screw is a good thing to use because it'll hold the glue. And I just cover over the... like that. Like that. And... now you wait for that to harden and dry, and make sure it's not stuck to the table. Alright. And now you just wait. One of the good things about hot glue is, as soon as it's room temperature, it is done. And that is, it doesn't have any load on this, it's just a slider in and out, so that should be enough to hold it for the rest of existence. And now if you look, now that we've, let me move the light. Since we cut off the back of that, we get the rear tooth, the very last tooth, all the way to the back of the slide. Alright, now let's put this back together. Step 1. Steel underpants. You screw these all the way down until you're into the plastic, and then put the top one up. This other one is the adjustment for the spring tension. Leave that up as well. Got these little caps on here. 1, 2. And of course, hot glue hair everywhere. You first. Like that. So now we're in. Forward to the back. And you have to watch out for clearance over this spring. This just happened to work. If this didn't fit with these nuts in place, I would just have done the raw rod, but I think it's more secure, more glue touching all the surfaces. So yeah, there you go. Now let's put this all back together. You need this threaded rod, which has some sort of thread locker on it, or did at least. Gets put in the back here and it'll fall out. So lay it down. We'll do the front end first, actually. Drop that out. Hot glue. Now keep in mind this could just fall out, so when you're putting it back in, actually, you know what? That could stay down the line. Reinstall this. And it only goes one way, the holes are bigger on one side. At the bottom where I wanted it all along. Watch the spring doesn't fall out. Perfect little thing. That doesn't have to be tight yet. Now this. 1, 2. Okie dokie. In, and then once that's in, slide it up. Where is this? Alright, and then just get your Allen key or grab the adapter bit and just screw this back in place, and it's fixed. Alright, now on the bottom of the unit, under this little cover which is over here, just like that, there's the control board, which I unplugged these from, which is just simply a PS to a USB. It's got a little 3-pin connector here that says Excel, and over here it says clutch, so you can't get them messed up. Take the clutch. It just pops in. There's only one way it can go, really. Make sure the wire isn't twisted. And that's back together. This Excel and this is back together. And they give you some little wire clip hangers. You could hide all the wires. And there's actually another one here. Handbrake. So I assume you could add a handbrake right there. And it's got 4 pins. And I don't know, I guess load cell. Although brake's got 2 3 pins. Worry about that when the time comes. Because I would probably want to use that and actually build an analog handbrake. Although the only game that currently uses that is Richard Burns Rally from forever ago. But it was fun. So I'll screw this back together, and then we'll plug this in to the computer and see what their thing registers. Oh god. See what it registers. And this is all put back together. Plugged it in. I routed the wires so they don't get crushed. And you can route this in and through the back if you felt like it. Although it'll be a pretty tight turn with the wire they gave you. It nearly terminates at the actual end. So let me flip these over. And they're very heavy. I could weigh them for you actually. And put this dust cover back on. And there's the pedal set. Alright. Now I've run DX Tweak 2, which will show us all our pedal graphs. And here's the gas pedal, which now works full range from the immediacy of touching it. Is that all the way to back, and you can still tweak it so that the very farthest end of the reach, but I think I do have it over automatically tweaked so that the it's slightly less linear, so it will hit 100% in game before I actually hit 100% on the pedal. And clutch also, and I have a lot of linearity on that. The bottom 3/4 inch of movement is still 100% clutch, then you let it off slow. And that's adjustable however you want in this program. So there's clutch, front to back, and the load cell brake, which now, that was another thing, they said the load cell brake would not work on the last hole as well, and that is sort of true. I didn't have to do any modifications to it. All I had to do was modify it in this program. Where's the mouse? Because as you can see, when I push it down all the way to the bottom, the red arrow, which represents actual real world, does not go to 100%, yet the black one does, and that's because this program will modify mins, max. Which rotation is that? That's Y rotation. See the wire rotation, I have it set so that I do not use the bottom end of the actual throw, and it's pretty linear, might go up a little bit, so that when I press the brake pedal down, even though I max out physically, I'm actually hitting the load cell unit itself with the pedal, and even though that red indicator is not going to the end of the spectrum, I'm still registering 100% brake because this program has it modified. So you can use, right now all three pedals are set to the, this is actually the number 1, because when it's in this orientation it's the first one up. And as far as the 5th one up, it'll never work unless you figure out a way to cut the bolt head off in the back. Alright, well, I have yet to give these a drive. I'm waiting for the wheel to show up. When it does, you will have my impressions of it.